All right, so today let's look at the remaining two microgames. So first let's look at FPS microgame. Yeah, so let's select tutorials, show tutorials, and some of them you know already, so we'll not spend much time on that, but we have to go through them to move on to the next step. So in some games you need to know the controls. So for that, so this game says if you press tab, you will be able to see the controls. All right. So here again you need to click the button show to see the controls. So this game has a lot of controls. All right. Let me increase this. So arrow keys and WSD keys are normal, and left mouse button to shoot, uh, right mouse button to aim down, and so on. You just need to see. Yeah. Okay. So you can press tab again anytime to see the controls. So this also you can select a player by selecting in the hierarchy panel. All right, and here it is suggesting us to change the gravity value. So let us say make it 12. Okay, you need to save it, Control S, and then press play again. Actually in the previous step we should have tried it. Okay, so and so on. So if you have to rotate, you have to use the mouse. If you have to move left or right, you have to use the arrow keys. So here I am rotating by moving the mouse. Okay, but if I have to keep it like that and move parallelly left or right, I have to use the arrow keys. Whatever. And sometimes in these kind of games, uh, since your mouse is sort of locked inside the game, um, you have to press the escape key or some other key. I think it will come in one of the next steps. Otherwise you won't be able to come out and press the play button or stop the game, right? So we'll see, that may come, that step may come. Okay, and yeah, here we have to stop the game. Now it lets us move to the second stage. Okay, so in this tutorial we will add a room, that is we'll use one of the existing assets and add a room to the space. Okay, you can adjust your view so that it's easier to see what you are creating. The view tool lets you navigate in the scene view, you know that already. This hand tool is called the view tool, so you can move around and see where you want to place the room. You can also zoom in, zoom out. How do you zoom in, zoom out? Yeah, scroll, simple. Okay, and how do you change your orientation? How do you rotate around the scene?
Option and
Drag. Yeah, option and drag.
or right click drag.
If you, yeah, option and drag will make you rotate around the scene. All right, the scene is centered somewhere and you're able to rotate around the scene. Your camera is moving around the scene. Okay, you're orbiting around the scene. But imagine you want the scene to rotate around you. You won't move, but the scene will rotate. What do you do then? Right click and drag. Okay, so now you see your axis is fixed, the scene is rotating. All right, so these are the two different things. If you want to stay fixed, if you want your camera to stay wherever it is and rotate, you use right click and drag. That is, the scene will be moving. Okay, but if you want the scene to be fixed and your camera to move, then you click option and drag. Okay, so that's the difference. So now let us, yeah, this whatever we discussed, same thing it is saying. If you want to orbit around the scene, click Alt in Windows or Option on Mac and drag. It wants us to do it again, otherwise it won't let us move to the next step. Okay, yeah, done. And zooming, simple scrolling. Okay, so that also we discussed. And now to add a room. Okay, the project window is where you can find, so this window we discussed, the bottom window, the project window is where you will find all the files used in your Unity project. Assets are the files that make up your project, such as a prefab, game objects, textures and audio. It works like a file explorer and is organized in folders. So drag the room alter prefab, drag in the room alter prefab. Click and drag the room alter prefab from the project window onto the floor in the scene view. Okay, so either you find it, look for prefabs folder in the folder view, or you just click all prefabs and all the prefabs will be available here. Here they are anyway organized alphabetically, so check for room alter prefab. Yeah, so this one. So just drag it. Okay, now use the move tool. Let's position the room. So click this and move it. So let's try to move it here since there is a door. Okay, so this also I mentioned here, there are 3 arrows. If you select any arrow, it will move only along that axis. It can't move in any other direction. Even if I try to move it left, it won't move, because this axis is, it only goes up and down. Okay, and similarly each other axis, whatever axis that whatever direction that axis is pointing at, you can move only in that direction. But if you want to move it freely, click this intersection cube, then you can move it freely. Okay, so that's the difference. And press next. After adding a new room, you must update the new mesh surface, which represents the walkable area of your game. The new room alter game object adds new walkable surface to the nav mesh that you must bake into the existing nav mesh surface. So these are some game specific things. Don't worry if you don't understand. So basically what it is saying is, right now the player is able to walk in some particular area. We will make him walk in new area. Actually, so I need to put it in some non-walkable area. So suppose if I put it here. So far this area is non-walkable. It should make it walkable, but there should be some entry for this door. So I'm not sure if it will create that door thing also. So actually, so if you, sorry. Okay. So let's hope it will create the door as well. I'm not sure. Let's see. So once you make these changes, you need to sort of, so this is called baking. You need to sort of re-render the scene again so that it will understand what changes you made. Okay. So select nav mesh surface in the hierarchy. So this is the one. So select and click bake. Okay. So this is done. Yeah, you need to save. Sometimes it will warn, sometimes it won't warn, but it's always a good habit to save whenever you make some changes. Okay. And to change colors, so here it is asking us to try changing the color of the floor. Okay, now floor is not like one individual object, that's what I said last time. So floor is created using some material, so you need to change the color of that material. Okay, so in the project window, select the floor gray material. So again, selecting it is difficult, searching for it is difficult, so directly let's go to all materials and let's select floor gray. Yeah, this one. Now change the base map color, select the base map color picker box to open the color picker window. So yeah, this one. So here you can change the color, you can change it to anything. You see the color is changing as you click. All right, so let's change it to this. Okay, so let's leave it there. So since you made a change, you have to save it. Okay, so Control S or Command S and then move on to the next tutorial. Add an enemy. Again, enemy will be a prefab, right? So what prefab is that? It is enemy hoverboat. So select a prefab, enemy hoverboat. Yeah, and drag it into the scene. So suppose I drag it here. Okay, now place it wherever you want using the move tool. Okay, suppose I just place it there. All right, and you can also rotate it, right, using the rotate tool. So let's make it point at this door. All right, yeah, so let's press, okay, we need to save and then press next. Yeah, next one is importing assets. That is, so far we use the assets which are already in the game, we use prefabs, but suppose we want to import some assets from online, okay, from wherever. There is already something called Unity Asset Store which has a large set of assets, so we can import from there. Okay, but that will I mean, that may take time because you need to download and it will take time. So you just check that if you want. It will be very similar to what we did. All right, so yeah, we can try playing once, but I'm not sure if this walkable path is created yet. I don't know why mine is not clicking. Okay, it's not in the scene. Okay, yeah, so those are some things related to the game. Yeah, So let's move on to the second one. That is actually a slightly larger game, so that has more tutorials. Okay, so let's open Lego Microgame. Yeah, so let's start the tutorials again. Okay, so let's click the play mode and let's just try out the game once. So here it is giving us the controls. So you can move using arrow keys or WSD keys, and you can jump using spacebar and double jump by pressing the spacebar twice. Like when it is in air, press it again. Rotate your view around using your mouse, right? Pause or view options using tab. Okay, so let's try it there. Oh, it came to the next step. Let me go back and try it once. So if it is difficult to understand the motion, put the camera straight. Okay. So again, make the camera straight. You see, although my mouse is outside, it is still sort of in the game mode. So in case you want to come out of that, you should probably press the escape key. But right now, let's play for a couple of more minutes and stop. So at this step, actually, if you notice, this jump is too far. It actually can't jump. So it will later in the next, one of the next steps, it will ask us to add a platform in between to make the jump smaller. So now no matter what you try, even if you try to do double jump, it won't work. Okay, so let's stop. Yeah, so now let's increase the speed of this game object. So select the player minifig game object and increase the speed to say 13. Okay, all right, so save and play again. Okay. Now you see it is much faster. Again, no matter how much you try, you won't be able to reach the other end. Okay, so exit the play mode and add a platform. Yeah, so now it shows us how to add a platform so that it can jump over that platform, right? Yeah, so drag in the platform, select the platform and drag it into the scene view. So let's say I select this and I drag it here. Okay, now you need to adjust it. All right, so whatever tools you already know, using those tools you need to adjust it, right? So move it around in whatever way you want, move it up, down, all right. And if you want, you can also change the view of your scene, and before that you can rotate. So let's rotate the platform so that it's parallel to the other two, right? Okay, now let's also adjust the view of the scene. So you need to look at it from various angles, right? So right now it's at a very low position, so let me move it to some height. All right, so from this angle it is fine. Now let me change the view. Yeah, here it is not parallel, so I need to move it again. So let me move away. Okay, so basically I want to put it below this what do we say, uh, coin or reward or whatever, below this reward. So okay, now again I need to check the height. Most probably it is somewhere below, so let me, oh, it's two way below. So okay, see, it's so if it is confusing, the best thing is use the axis, individual axis, and move the object. So first come to a clear view, a clear position to view the object from, and then move it along some axis. All right. So is it okay now? Let's see from multiple angles. Yeah, it's okay from this angle. It's okay from this angle. Yes. Okay.
So
You're,
we just check the coordinates of the reward and then position the platform accordingly.
yes. So right now its coordinates are 166, 11.8 and minus 100. So let's select the reward. I think it is probably not allowing me to select anything else, or what? Yeah, it's not allowing me to select anything else. Um, at least from the top view, the reward is in the same line as this. And yeah, from all directions, reward seems to be on top of this platform. Yeah, at least visually it is. So maybe in the next step, if it allows us to select a different object, yeah, it's asking us to enter play mode. So let's try. Yeah, now we need to see. Yeah. And here again we can't do much. Actually we have to go up, and this is a lift. So for this lift to work we need to do something. So that will be shown in the next step. Okay. So are you guys able to place the platform? You can try, take a couple of minutes. Okay, let's move on to the next tutorial. Yeah, so in this tutorial you added a platform to help the player jump between islands. Next you will activate the elevator so they can access the upper level of the game area. So that's where we got sort of stuck in the last attempt of the game. So activate the elevator to continue. Let's move on to this next tutorial. Yeah, so in this tutorial you will activate the elevator so the player can access the upper level of the game. So let's start. Yeah. In this Lego micro game you can easily add functionality and mechanics to your game with Lego behavior bricks. Just like components give game objects different functionalities, behavior bricks give game objects different behaviors. You can use behavior bricks to quickly create a custom experience for players to explore. So behavior bricks and the brick connecting system aren't standard in Unity. They have been created specifically for this micro game. Okay, so this is something game specific. If you don't understand, it's okay. You see, whatever we are learning about Unity, it is still very minimal. When you are creating a game, many more things you will need to learn. So right now this is common to any game, whatever we are learning so far. But game specific things, they are different for different games. Okay, so those you will learn while you create a game. That's all. So they have been created specifically for this micro game. In this tutorial you will explore what they can do. So let's start by helping the player access the upper level of the island. So add an elevator brick. In the project window, select the elevator behavior brick and drag it into the scene view. So I believe it's in prefabs. Here there is no clear information as to where to find it. They just give names and expect us to find. So let's see. Yeah, so elevator is one. I think this is the one. Yeah, elevator. So drag it into the scene. Okay, let's place it somewhere. So before building with behavior bricks, you need to enable brick connecting so you can click them into place. You can enable brick connecting in the Lego tools of the scene view. The brick building button enables and disables the connecting functionality. So this button you see on top left, this will enable and disable brick connecting functionality. That is, so when this is enabled, when you move the bricks onto each other, they will sort of fit into each other. When this is disabled, they will just remain separate. Okay, so this is enabled anyway right now. Okay, and shortcut Control Alt N or Command Opt N to enable that. The brick selection button sets whether you can currently move and connect single bricks or groups of bricks. Okay, so here this is a single brick selection and this is a multi-brick selection. So sometimes you may want to move only one brick out of the Lego structure. In that case, you should select this single brick button. Or sometimes you may want to move a group of bricks together. In that case, you should select the multi-brick option. Okay, so right now first we click this and then I am moving only one brick, single brick, so I'll select the single brick option. Okay, and then select the brick building button so that it turns blue. Alright, yeah, so we selected this brick building button and then we selected the single brick button. Let's move to the next. So before building with behavior bricks, you need to enable brick connecting so you can click them in place. Okay, I think we did this right already. Yeah, now that brick connecting is enabled, you can turn the stationary platform into an elevator. How? Click and drag the elevator brick onto the platform. It will snap to show you where it can connect, just like physical Lego bricks. When you're happy with the brick's position, click again to connect. So connect the elevator brick to the right side of the platform. So if you can see in this small animation here, you need to drag the brick onto the right side of the platform until it clicks and fits there. Okay, so let's do that. So I am dragging it. It's so bring it here, click. Now it has fit onto the right side of the platform. Okay, so let's see from other angle. Yeah, it seems to have fit. Yes, so it fit neatly there. Okay, that's all. So save it and click play mode. Now when you're playing, you will see even from a distance that this platform is moving up and down like an elevator. So let's see. Yeah, you see in the, okay, you see there the platform is moving up and down. In the corner you can see the platform, it is moving up and down. Earlier it was not moving. I'm gone. Done. So let's move on to the next one. So earlier the elevator was moving up and down, whether independent of the player reaching there. Now suppose we want the elevator to start only when the player reaches there. So this behavior we want to trigger it on an action, right? So in that case, we also need to add something called a trigger brick. Earlier we added a behavior brick, that is when you add that brick, the elevator moves up and down. So that is the behavior that brick gave to the elevator. Now we don't want it to move up and down always. We want it to move up and down only when the player touches that elevator. So we add something called a trigger brick. So this brick triggers the other brick, the behavior brick, when the player touches the elevator platform. Okay. So that's what this is saying. Now that the elevator moves up and down, let's make it move only when the player reaches it. When you turn the platform into an elevator, you use the first kind of behavior brick, that is action bricks. Action bricks make a game object perform a particular action. You can also add a trigger brick to the platform. Trigger bricks determine when an object performs its action. A touch trigger will activate the elevator when the player moves onto the platform. So add a touch trigger brick, select the yellow touch trigger brick, behavior brick, and drag it onto the scene view. So yeah, here you see touch trigger. So let's drag it onto the scene view. Now brick building is still active, so you can connect the new behavior brick to the platform. Remember, it will snap to show you where it can connect. So select and drag the touch trigger onto the platform, then click to connect it. So here you need to place it here and click. Done. So we can see it has fit neatly. Yeah, done. So let's save it. So now the platform will move only when the player touches it. Save. I saved it already. And then try playing. Now you see the elevator is not moving. Earlier, even from the corner, you were able to see the elevator was moving up and down. Now it is not moving. Okay. So let's give it a try. Yeah, now once it touches it, it should move. Yeah, you see it moved only after the player reached there. Okay, it's okay even if you are not done. Let's finish this tutorial because we have only 5 minutes, and you can try it later. Yeah, so in this tutorial you activated the elevator, then added a trigger so it functions only when the player reaches it. Next you will change what the player needs to do to win the game. So select the next tutorial, change the win conditions. Yeah, so in this tutorial you'll explore an important aspect of game design, that is win conditions. If the player achieves the win conditions, then they win the game, right? Right now the player will win if they reach the game goal platform, which is too simple. Let's improve the win conditions and make the player experience more interesting. So let's start. There are 2 behavior bricks on the game goal podium. One of them may already be familiar to you, that is the touch brick. So when the player touches the podium, it is considered to be a win. Okay. Select the green behavior brick with the trophy icon. So select this. Okay. This behavior brick is a win action brick. It defines what the player needs to do to win. So when you combine the win brick with a trigger brick, you create the win conditions. If the trigger is triggered, then the player wins. In the previous case, only touch trigger is associated with the win brick, which means if the player comes and touches the win brick, he or she wins. But we want to change this trigger. So when you combine a win brick with a trigger brick, you create the win conditions. If the trigger is triggered, when the player wins. If no win conditions are set, the player will win the game as soon as it starts. If no conditions are set, then the player wins as soon as it starts, right? So you need to set some conditions. So select the yellow behavior brick with the hand icon. So select this. Yellow trigger bricks define when an object in your game will perform the action defined by the action brick placed on it, right? Trigger bricks won't work without action bricks. The touch trigger on the win podium activates the win conditions when the player moves onto the platform. So we want to change that. So let's replace the touch trigger with a different trigger and see what happens. You can also use the shortcut delete or command plus delete in Mac OS. So you can say command delete. That trigger is gone. We want to place a different trigger for the win condition. Okay. So go to next. So let's add a different trigger to set the win conditions. Add a pickup trigger. So select the yellow pickup trigger and drag it onto the scene view. So select this and drag it wherever. Let's leave it there. Now connect the bricks. So brick selection, brick building is anyway enabled, and brick selection is changed to single brick. So all you need to do is click and drag. Yeah. Now it has fit onto the win behavior brick. Okay. So click and drag the pickup trigger onto the win brick. Click again to connect the bricks. Select next to continue. So we have done all the steps. Select next to continue. So what does this new trigger do? It will let you win only when you collect all the rewards, right? So far it was optional. You collected some rewards, you did not collect some rewards, but once you reach the win trophy, once you touched it, you won the game, independent of how many rewards you collected. Now the condition is not touching the win trophy, collecting all the rewards. So the moment you collect all the rewards, you have won. Okay. So let's save it and click play mode. So now you need to make sure that you should collect every reward on your path. Yeah, once I collected the last reward, it said 1. I did not even need to touch the trophy. Okay. So those are some behavior and win conditions. Those you will learn when you are building a game. Okay, those are not Unity specific things. Those are game specific things. And yeah. So in the previous case, collecting all the rewards, actually from the trigger image itself, it was not clear to you because I told you, you sort of understood. So to make it clear to the player, we can add a text. So that's what is the next step. Like everything else in your game world, the win action brick is a game object. When you select a game object, the inspector shows, yeah, reveal the text field. Select the objective for pickup trigger, fold out to expand the section. So let's expand this section, all right, and then select next. So you can change the instruction text, or you can leave it like that. In this case, it is collect all the pickups, right? Yeah. So title and details, it is anyway there. Okay, so I'll just change this to, I'll just make this p small. It's asking me to change next one also. Okay, yeah, yeah, just save and move to the next. So now you see there is a text that is here, collect all the pickups. On the top left of the game window, you see the text. Okay, so that will give you more clarity that you need to collect all the pickups so that you win the game. All right. Yeah. So I stop there. Yeah. So there are more steps. You just test them out on your own. Again, adding an enemy and uh, giving direction to that enemy, and again under what conditions that enemy should attack, all those things. So similar things you can understand on your own. So I need not spend much time on that. So far we got a basic idea of Unity, and also the kind of how a scene looks and how you can control a scene, how you can add objects to a scene, what is the concept of prefabs and objects and their properties, how to change their properties and all those things. But the most important thing is a lot of scripting is there at the back end to implement any of these games, right? So we actually need to get into C# scripting. So that is what we will do from the next class. So you will learn C#, all the basics of C#, and then we will move on to some game scripting using C#. Okay, fine. Any doubts? All right, so let's stop here.